DITAWORLD, nice to see you. I mean, you're there, I'm here, but nice to see you.
Virtually see you again. We had a wonderful DITAWORLD last year. I'm super excited to share some things, some fresh new things this year. Last year, we did some really fun things. We had the power of editing to get us to virtually do whatever we wanted. We had the power of the snap.
Yes.
Which, by the way, how did you ever get back?
Yeah. It's complicated. I had DivRod restore a backup.
I love it. I love it.
Nice.
Let's show folks a little refresher on what we meant by editing in the snap really quick to frame things, and then we'll introduce ourselves when we get back.
Previously on X-Men. Come on, let's go.
Can't you do something?
What do you want me to do? Arrest him?
Surrender, mutant.
Of course. Not.
All right, so that was last year. This year, I think we're not going to be able to top it. There's just no time, so let's jump right into it. Introductions, do you want to go first?
Sure. I'm Sebastian Fuhrer, Director of Content Engineering and Operations at Mayo Clinic. Heavily interested in optimizing the content lifecycle end to end, and we're working with a transformation into Data XML, and we're using AEM guides as our CCMS.
I am Bernard Aschwanden. I'm with a company called CCMS Kickstart, and our goal is to make sure that the AEM guides experience from start to end goes flawlessly. Unlike what's happening here at my house right now. Again, power is out right now, so fingers crossed. I'm hotspotting off my phone, etc.
You're a little glitchy. I mean, more so than normal. But I've got an idea. I did have something planned that I wanted to try with you. I really wanted to see you in person and do a little bit of this presentation in person. So I have an idea. I'm not sure this is going to work, but are you willing to stand by for a hot sec?
Yeah. Hurry it up, though. We gotta start the session.
All right. Hang on.
Sebastian, you coming back? Hang on. I got something weird and blue. Give me a second. I'll be right back.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice.
Everything is bigger on the inside.
I get that a lot.
I would imagine. It's pretty impressive technology, Sebastian. Thanks for having me over to your place.
Oh, it's awesome to have you here in person, Bernard. There's two of us. Oftentimes I hear people say, I'm his doppelganger. But in reality, he's my doppelganger.
So last year,
yes,
we had our theme. This year we've got a good theme going, I think. You've got some really cool Doctor Who stuff. I love the tie, little Doctor Who branded.
Yep.
The hat, nice touch. Now, do you remember last year after we wrapped up, off camera, we did the little Thanos snappy thing. We had the chair.
Hey, I want to try one last thing before we say adieu.
All right. Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I got this back. One more snap. Let's try it. Oh, no. Sorry, Bernard. All right. Bye, everybody.
And then I had a question that I wanted to ask you. It was a good one. You're like, oh, my God, you've got to bring that up next year.
That was a year ago, Bernard. I don't remember.
Do we want to check the notes from last year? Do we have any way to... Actually...
We got a time machine.
We have a way to go back.
Yeah.
Want to go back?
Let's do it. Let's see what we said last year. That was such a great question.
For next year, can you get DITAWORLD a video showing cutting-edge tech at Mayo Clinic, like cool music, great visuals, maybe 3D print a heart? Also, try to address why people think we're the same person. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, enough messing around though.
I look weird at that angle.
We're here to talk about Doctor Who, but I think we're really here to talk about DITAWORLD, right?
So yes, DITAWORLD. Now, I had asked you a question in regards to the idea of where are you going? We saw that, but I also had another question in there, sort of jokingly, but the idea that people are like, you guys are almost the same thing, but you still come across unique.
Yes, similar but different. It reminds me of DITA, right?
Fair
Even with our content at Mayo Clinic, we've done an amazing job of using all kinds of strengths of DITA and the CCMS of AEM to have different variants of content. Oh, you're my variant.
I am a variant. I am a specific deliverable.
That's right.
Of the same base amazingness.
The Canadian version, one would say.
I
the
would
Canadian
say that
variant.
I often tell people that you are the American Bernard, but not as smart. Of course, I get told that I'm the Canadian Sebastian, but not as good looking.
Everybody wants to be Canadian.
Everybody wants to be Sebastian. So do we want to dive in? Because I know there's a video that gives a little bit of background on the Mayo Clinic and sort of where you're going. We can hit that.
So we should talk about the seriousness of Mayo Clinic. We're kind of not
loopy.
Yeah. But
it's been today's been a long month.
Exactly.
Sorry.
So we went back in time to look at the question that you asked last year, which was brilliant. I don't know how you predicted it, but let's look at the future of technology at Mayo Clinic with some exciting previews of what's coming. And we'll set the stage with that, and then we'll really dive into what we're here to talk about, which is Mayo Clinic's very serious focus on credible medical content hosted in a componentized content management system, hence AEM.
CCMS, if you will.
Yes, exactly. Hey everyone, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that inspirational trailer for an upcoming documentary by Mayo Clinic. I've seen the whole thing. It is incredible what Mayo Clinic is doing to revolutionize its technology. They're constantly innovating. It's one of our key tenets is innovation. I like to think we're doing some innovation over in the content space as well. And that's why we're here today. Before we jump in, I want to talk to you about Mayo Clinic just for a hot second. Mayo Clinic is much older than I am. It's been around for a very long time. Mayo Clinic is renowned for its practice of interdisciplinary medicine. So if you ever come and visit this wonderful clinic, this is the Minnesota building I get to walk through frequently. You will experience a journey where you often jump from one discipline of medicine to another one and see many of the foremost experts on planet Earth in their different domains. Mayo Clinic is a nonprofit. We also have hospitals located in Arizona and Florida and overseas. I'm going to jump ahead. All right. So Mayo Clinic is doing some revolutionary transformation of content as well. In this case, we've selected Adobe Experience Manager, specifically focused on AEM guides, our componentized content management system, and sites. Both were needed. We performed a rigorous RFP to try and find a solution that could meet our needs, pulled together business stakeholders all across our enterprise, as well as our IT experts in technology, and landed on one solution with AEM. We are heavily focused on moving our amazing content developers who write incredible content to support the practice out of authoring and reviewing in Microsoft Word and moving them into authoring and reviewing in AEM guides. We're focused on bringing our huge volumes of existing content, moving them out of the current CMS into highly structured componentized content in AEM guides in DITA XML. We'll talk a little bit about that in this presentation about using content models to help us do that. We have also integrated several solutions into our content ecosystem, into our stack. So we have a knowledge graph which has controlled vocabularies. It supports annotations, metadata, connections. This is key for enriching our ability to for both backstage and front stage users to search and find content. We're connected to our Mayo Media Asset Manager, where lots of multimedia assets are stored. And we've recently procured Global Links Translation Connector from translation.com. This is a TMS. This should help us scale our translation capabilities. Additionally, within the AEM guide system, we've been heavily focused on enabling and creating transforms out of DITA XML into output formats that support web and mobile, print, the electronic health record, and B2B syndication channels, as well as building pipelines to deliver to those channels. So that's a background there. Just a reminder of who our primary consumers of Mayo Clinic content are, who are audiences. So we have over 3 million printed education guides at the practice. Those support patients and the physicians that support them, right? The physicians are the individuals who select those materials, hand those materials to a patient, circle those materials. So we focus a lot on patient education. Additionally, we resell our content to over 70 plus global healthcare organizations. So another hospital might have its own CMS. They purchase our content in an XML or HTML format, hit an API that we provide, and they can repurpose our content with the Mayo pieces stripped and pulled out of it. Finally, we have health information seekers. That's all of you out there watching this video. You can go to mayoclinic.org and visit information about Mayo Clinic, about conditions that are treated by Mayo Clinic, and this gets a lot of traffic, around 1.8 billion unique page visits annually. So 3 different primary audiences. Continuing on, a little bit about the content lifecycle within AEM guides. We begin to flesh this out and map it to corresponding to our current content lifecycle and workflow end to end. So you can see that we focused time on structuring and modeling content, focusing on creating and reviewing, managing and publishing, and supporting content within the system. Our quick reminder, like I said before, today we're authoring content outside of the CMS. The content is authored in Word, and then individuals transform that content into HTML in different standards within the current CMS. In the future, this is actually today, we're doing this right now, our editorial staff, our content developers are authoring directly inside the system. All right, so why are we focused so much on this transformation? I used this slide last year. This is where things come together for me. Again, we want to create once and publish everywhere. Here you can see a single piece of content. It is structured, DITA XML, highly structured, sourced in AEM guides. We can then take that exact same piece of content, wrap it in web experience in AEM sites, and through a lot of complexity that isn't shown here, get it to delivered to our endpoint where health information seekers can consume it. So that's you going out and looking at a condition on mayoclinic.org. Next up, we have those clients that we talked about. These are B2B companies. They have their own content management system. That exact same piece of content can be pushed through an API out to these individuals that consume the content via both real-time and bulk API calls. Finally, we have our physicians that support the patients. The needs of the patient come first. They need to go through the physician, though. And so we deliver that exact same piece of content into our electronic health record, and the physician can log into the electronic health record and obtain that piece of content. They can search and find for it. They can attach it to an after visit summary, etc. Final format that we're really focused on is the PDF format. We're using AEM's native PDF capabilities. This is a low-code paged media CSS solution that we've adopted. Allows us to develop print materials. They go to our print specialist who touches everything and finishes them. They go out to the print shop, and then that physician can reach behind and onto their desk and pull a beautiful printed brochure right off the rack. It is the same content, though, in all cases. So really, we're talking about did a once, publish everywhere, and we've got web channels, syndication channels, electronic health record channels, and print channels, all from the exact same piece of content. So this is real omni-channel capabilities that we've developed and supported, and Data XML and guides and the technology stack in AEM helps us to achieve that. So a quick slide here on why Mayo Clinic is invested in this content and technology. You talked a lot about it, but why? What's the reason? Key here is that content is foundational to Mayo Clinic's vision, right? So Mayo Clinic talks about its bold forward strategy. In this case, bold forward content is standardized, it's structured, it's focused on a single idea. That content is annotated, it's inclusive and diverse, it's person-centered, channel agnostic, and brand aligned. A content management system, and in this case, both a CCMS and a CMS, is foundational to Mayo Clinic's vision. Bold forward content in that CMS must be easy to create and update, easy to review, easy to translate, easy to find and report, componentized and reusable, omni-channel deliverable, enriched with knowledge, and AI accessible. So I'm going to do what you're not supposed to do here and read from this slide, but I like this phrasing a lot. Mayo Clinic is creating a unified backstage environment where content creators and collaborators can create once and publish everywhere, so that front stage audiences can easily consume the right content at the right time in the language, format, and device of their choice. You'll hear me talk a lot about backstage and front stage. The two have to come together. We need both to get us into a position where our backstage users are empowered so that our front stage users can get the best content possible. All right. Let's jump into content and technology for a second. You heard me talk about that we held a unified RFP where the business and the IT teams came together. I'm not sure how many of you are approaching your own journey of content transformation, but if you are, a strong encouragement is that you don't want to end up like this, right? So what's happening here is really people who trust each other are pointing fingers at one another because they didn't align first and foremost. If you are looking for a technology platform, make sure you bring both sides of the house. In my discipline, which is content engineering, really I've got one foot in each canoe, and I'm trying to balance the needs of the business and the needs of the technical IT community and bring those two together. Bring someone like that with you, or force your business and IT teams to come together and really make sure the business needs and the technology needs are aligned. When they're not aligned, you get an imbalance. You might have a solution that your content creators really want that doesn't plug into any of your other content ecosystem. It might not be headless. It might not fit the needs of the technology and the spaces that things are going in, especially with AI. That's critical. The other part is true. If IT or the technology teams go out and just buy the solution and try to force content editors, content developers, content people into that, and it's not aligned to their needs, it may not support componentized content if that's what you need, you're going to be in some trouble. So get your teams together, make sure your people goals are clear, make sure your technology goals are clear, make sure your process goals are clear, work those things out in advance. This seems obvious, but I think it's hard to do, and it takes time. You need to spend time and get the right people in your organization thinking about all the things that you need and want, and then looking for a unified solution so you can lean into it. Okay, I want to share some tips for success when approaching a transformation like this. I think we learned a lot along our journey, and I want to share some of those with you. So here's a recipe for success if you're going to be adopting DITA and AEM guides. So number one, bring your experts. You got to have folks who understand both the DITA technology and its architecture, as well as the AEM technology and platform that you're in. I encourage you to hold a capability workshop early on. Get to know this powerful system. AEM has so many ways to do so many things. It's super powerful. Learn what it does out of the box. Assess your strategy around what you can adopt and save. You're paying for this technology. Try to use it before you start to customize it. Develop a model and migration strategy. I'm going to encourage you to build content models, however complex those need to be, even if they're very minimal. Content models, just a blueprint for how to migrate the content, get the content set up inside the system, and then deliver the content out. I'll talk a little bit about that as we move forward. And make sure you have a migration strategy. My assumption is you aren't in AEM today. If you're going to adopt AEM, you need to get your content in there. There's a lot of different ways to go about doing that. There's automation, there's manual, there's hybrid, there's all kinds of ways to do it. If you're already in DITA XML, you're going to have a much easier time. But if you're trying to transform existing content that's not highly structured, there's a lot of work to be done to get there. Finally, user training and change management. It's so important that you take a human-centric design. Human beings will live and breathe in this system, work together daily in this system. If especially large transformation is occurring, make sure you lean into principles of change management as well. So let's start with that first one, where we need the right expert to help you build a foundation. So looking at expertise required and needed, let's start on the left side. So you need to bring DITA XML experts. You may have those in-house already, and you're probably going to be set. But when you're looking for a DITA expert, make sure they understand DTDs or document type definitions. Those are important. And then the other foundations of DITA and its architecture: information typing, addressing architecture, direct and indirect references and addressing, linking, reuse, profiling, common files, the DITA Open Toolkit. All of these are part and parcel of adopting a DITA infrastructure and then bringing guides in to wrap it in that CCMS layer. Gotta move. The next up, to balance that, that's great if you have strong DITA expertise. You now must have strong AEM expertise. That includes guides, that includes assets. If you are adopting sites, for sure that includes sites. Find AEM experts who understand things like versioning, workflow state, translation. Over in the asset space, you want to make sure you understand how metadata management works. You can wrap an object in DITA. You don't have to store all the metadata inside of it. You can store it in the system. That can have some powerful reporting and delivery capabilities. Reporting, publication, etc. Workflows, make sure they understand the Java content repository. AEM is a Java-based system. You want Java developers who understand this environment and the software development lifecycle that goes around with it. Make sure you understand the version that you're adopting. There's different documentation if you're on the cloud versus if you're Adobe Managed Services, if you're on premise, etc. If you're going to adopt AEM sites, be very considerate of how AEM Sites works out of the box, how much you're going to configure it or customize it. Are you trying to be headless, headful? Are you going to use content fragments? Are you not? Make sure that you're bringing a full stack development team that understands the elements of Java, REST, React, etc. If you're trying to go headless, like we did at Mayo Clinic, and bring experts so that you can be successful. Make sure you have the right ones, and there's a lot of them out there that can work with you and help you. Okay, so what is about this capability workshop I was talking about and assessing and mapping capabilities? So as we look at the capabilities here, this is Mayo Clinic's enterprise content lifecycle, and you can see it goes define and plan, design, create and review, build, publish and deliver, measure, optimize and update. You will have your own content lifecycle that you're very familiar with. What's important is that you have sort of a grounding and a foundation of the capabilities you need, and that you're then assessing those, right? So hold a workshop with the two experts that we talked about before, both DITA and AEM, to try to walk through the out-of-the-box capabilities that AEM provides. Bring your content and IT subject matter experts, those SMEs, assess all of these out-of-the-box capabilities, gather the feedback that you need, plan any needed customizations, and build a solution architecture. So do that for each of these areas, and you will have real success, in my opinion. This seems like a simple approach toward adoption, but what it allows you to do is focus on out of the box first, make sure you understand out of the box, align it and understand how it applies to your content lifecycle, and then you can begin customizing where you need some unique solutions in place. Okay, my favorite part, I'm going to jump into content models a little bit. This is my bread and butter. At the end of the day, you are likely trying to go from your current source. We're going to guess that you've got content, media, metadata, probably experience, workflow, other things in a current source system. And as you think about going to a new target, there's a lot to consider. A good content model will help you do three things really well, right? So the first thing that it does is it helps you map source to target. So a clear blueprint that allow engineers to move content, metadata, media from your existing source system into your target system. This document can go into detail about how to move element to element to do source to target mapping. Second thing a content model should do well is it means that users can work in the AEM system. It should be thinking about the folder structures, the access to content, and how the content lifecycle is set out and designed. Finally, source to target out. So you got it in, now you got to get it back out to your delivery channels. A good content model should allow users to successfully work with the migrated content, metadata, media, and perform all the text. Oop, I'm going to need to fix that. I got a wrong slide there that I thought I had fixed. What this should say is that this should allow you to plan the source to target out, map development, work with development and engineering to build those unique transformations that you need to map things out of the system. Little mistake there. I did build a lot of these slides with AI, but clearly AI is not doing it. I'm a human and I'm flawed still. I'm sure that'll be rectified soon when AI takes over. All right. Not going to go much deeper into building a content model in AEM guides, but what we did at Mayo Clinic was we focused on these 6 core elements. So we looked at the folders, the folder naming structure, the files, the file naming structures, looked for conventions and standardization within the system. Linking, we built some custom link topics within DITA XML, and then are working through the delivery channels for how those links get reconciled. focused a lot on markup. Our brilliant content engineer, Chris Eberlein, spent a lot of time constraining some of the elements. Data XML, you may or may not be familiar with, has many, many, many kinds of elements. Not all are needed. We focused on the ones that were needed, and we also specialized that markup. So Chris spent a lot of time building specializations like safety language specializations, a clean, easy to use tag set that our content developers could work with. Metadata. We focused a lot on, we built a metadata application profile. This is essentially a large graph or a spreadsheet that maps every existing metadata coming out of our knowledge graph and also out of our existing system. And then we map source to target. Where is it going to live in the future? We actually moved a lot of things, not into AEM, but into our knowledge graph. But we did move a lot of content management metadata directly into the system, and we moved it into the asset metadata that surrounds the data object. But by mapping all of it out, drawing a blueprint out, putting it on paper, our software developers have a blueprint to go and build the thing that we want exactly as designed. And oh, by the way, we can go back to this. These are living documents that if we're going to make a change, we can publish a documented update to our operational model, and everybody understands it, everyone reviews it, and we're aware of it. So we believe in operational content models at Mayo Clinic. Sorry, I missed media. Lots to think about how media is sourced, how media is pulled in from your DAM or other sources, and how it's linked within the content. So there's more to, I think, content modeling than this, but at a high level, this covers what I think is most important.
Where is the doctor? Speak.
We're back. I had to take a break for a second. Someone came to visit me. He wanted to sit in my lap while I do this presentation about human-centered design. Unfortunately, it's not puppy-centered design. This is Amarok, a baby husky puppy. He's going to sleep in my lap while we do the rest of the human-centered design piece. All right. Let me share my screen. Oh. And we're going to talk. Oh, are we not going to talk? Maybe. You're going to let me? Come on. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. You're okay. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about human-centered design and focus, and a little bit about digital first. We're doing a lot of this at Mayo Clinic, and AEM is helping us. So digital first, in essence, means going digital first. So it means acknowledging that the digital world is central to most people's lives. Critical piece here, what about print? Print is not going away anytime soon. We have all of these printed materials. We showcased a few of those before in the did it once, publish everywhere piece of things. But the idea is that for us, previously we were print first. We produced our print brochures first. We've been making these beautiful, magnificent print copies for a long period of time. We're still going to make those. It's just that we can store our single source of truth upstream in AEM and produce the print out of it, which is pretty powerful for our sake. So digital first is creating content optimized for digital devices and platforms, format text and images for online reading, invest in multimedia formats, leverage digital analytics and audience insights, adapt content strategies and operations to thrive in a digital world. We're doing all of those. And those were bullets provided by our amazing Senior Director of Content Development, Jay Maxwell. His words are better than mine. Benefits of going digital first. There's a lot of them in here. As we adopt and begin to mature our process from within AEM, we can use things like Schematron and other Python scripts. We can pull our content down into Oxygen, run these scripts, push it back up into AEM. We have a lot of flexibility. We're excited about being digital first, meaning that we're in Data XML. We're highly structured, and we can leverage the power of Data as well as guides to lean into all of these great capabilities. So again, let's talk about human-centered decisions. I just wanted to close there. Mayo Clinic's mission is inspiring hope, promoting health through integrated clinical practice, education, and research. Our primary value is that the needs of the patient come first. This is so key to how we live and breathe. One of the things I love about working at Mayo Clinic is that we can always go back to these key values that we've got and make sure we are aligned to them. In my opinion, we're very aligned to that number one goal, the needs of the patient come first. The content that we're delivering touches patients directly. It goes into the hands of the physicians and goes out into to the patient experience. But there's a second human audience, and those are our backstage content creators, content managers, our translators, our publishers, our IT support staff, our content operations support staff, everyone along that content life cycle that does all this work to support the needs of these on-stage consumers. So I have one last slide for you. And this one says, empowering content creators in a digital-first backstage supports the needs of the patient in a digital-first front stage experience. I love this slide because the two are, this duality is critical. And we often just think of our audience experiencing this content, but we want to remember all the people backstage that do all this amazing work. And there's a lot of them at Mayo Clinic. So thank you for all that you do and continue to do. Excited to use Data XML guides and continue on our journey here for Mayo Clinic. Thanks. Well, that was amazing. I don't know how you got back here because you were gone for a while, but this is the way things work in time and relative dimensions of space.
I haven't left yet.
Yeah.
That other stuff from earlier, we're going to do that later.
Of course.
Yes.
Somehow you understand this. I don't know. Fake it till you make it. Oh, it's because you're Swiss. That's right.
Precision timing.
Are you Swishish?
Swishish.
Swissish. What is the plural for Swiss?
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Put two of us in the same room.
Oh boy.
We will never come to an opinion.
Yes, I love it. But you're always on time.
There is that.
Boom. Okay. So we had a great DITAWORLD here. I hope you guys enjoyed being entertained. And I hope you mostly learned a little bit more.
Assuming they were entertained.
Well,
we were entertained.
We were the ones. Thank you for allowing us to be entertained and for you to tuning in. So we appreciate it.
All right, you're gonna send me home in that thing. Let's go.
Unfortunately, I opened up a support ticket while we were waiting. I think it's going to go to DivRaj in the morning.
You didn't submit it through the TARDIS.
It's all out of power. So unfortunately, I got no way to send you home, my friend. And I got no space for you. My mom's coming to stay.
Wow.
So if you can just rent a car and do planes, trains, automobiles, standard way of traveling home.
Cross customs into Canada?
Yeah.
Not
be
fun.
Good.
Yeah, they like you better.
Where's your passport?
Like
Did you not bring that with you?
I didn't bring it with me. You picked me up out of my living room.
I forgot about that. You'll be fine.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, get out of here.
Yeah, thanks.
Farewell.
Thanks.
Have fun in Canada.
Love you.
Bye.
Ugly kisses.
That chair doesn't need to be here anymore. Oh. All right. Well, we'll see him hopefully next year by the time he gets home. I don't know when, but for everybody who tuned in, thanks for watching. We appreciate your time. Happy DITAWORLD, everybody. Take care.
I'm home. Is this thing still on? Wow. tired, but I guess I get the last word. So thank you, everybody who attended, to the Adobe team for hosting, for being part of it, and of course to Sebastian and Mayo Clinic. Sebastian is great, aside from that one thing, a little tired now, but hey, why don't I show you what I had to go through to get back to Canada?
Can't believe he had his mom stay over and made me stay at a hotel. I could have just slept on a couch. I even had to go and rent a car. Just don't believe it. 7 a.m. and this is what I'm doing. This is your fault, Sebastian. All you had to do was keep the batteries charged. I cannot believe how much they charge for a one-way rental.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go. Come on, puppy. Let's go. He's still staying.